Okay. Good morning, Joanne.
Good morning.
And it's an honor for me to have a woman sitting here who's the mayor of Raritan.
Thank you.
How long have you been the mayor of Raritan?
I was sworn into office on November of 2006.
Okay, it's great. And you've been very instrumental in this parade that's in honor of my Uncle John Basilone. And I know the story. I know that you were a teacher before.
Yes.
And your third grade class. Tell me that story. Tell me how that happened.
In the Bridgewater Raritan school system, we had a curriculum where we learned about local history. And it was in the fall of 1989 or 1989, I believe. We were here in town. We took a historic walk through town. The statue was our very last stop. And I started to relay the story of John as was relayed to me by my dad. He always said to me, if John were alive and he came back to town and the president were here, the president would have to salute him. And that fascinated me, absolutely fascinated me, that President Eisenhower, who I was gaga over in the 1950s, was when he was telling me this story, would say he would have to salute John. And my father relayed the story about his heroism and so forth. And I was telling the boys and girls this story. And they were looking at the statue, and of course at that point in time, the Rambo movies were very popular. And on the way back to the school, we were walking, I could hear the chatter amongst the boys mostly about, oh, this and that, and you know. And when we got back to the school, we were sort of decompressing and downloading what we had learned and what we had seen. And one of the boys said to me, we should really do something to honor him. And they were starting to ask more questions about what he did. They wanted to know about what he was like when he was a child. And I can remember my mother, Stella, telling me about all the little antics he used to get into when he was a kid, because apparently he was a real imp of Satan. And yes. Typical little boy, boy. And the kids were just so enthralled with this whole idea. And they went to lunch, came back after lunch, and the conversation was still going on. And finally they said to me, you know, we need to do something. We need to have a parade. So at this point we wrote letters with a teachable moment. You know, we sat down and we wrote letters to Mayor Steve Del Rocco. Language arts lesson, math lesson, whatever else you wanted to pull into there. He was delighted because I didn't know that he had been a pallbearer at John's funeral in Arlington and a boyhood friend. He picked up the idea and was just so enthusiastic, set up the committee for the parade, and really got it going. And I'm just so amazed that the suggestion of an 8-year-old boy was taken to heart by the mayor. And it has just become the most incredible activity that this town has seen in a long, long time. So that's what it is.
Does that make you feel really good? I mean,
it
proud
makes me feel very,
that you instrumental.
Absolutely, it makes me feel very, very proud that being a native, being someone whose family is, I'm 4th generation here, we've done something. It's made an impact, and forevermore, hopefully, we will have this Sunday in September where we honor not only John but all the other veterans.
Right, and that is the part that I think that my uncle is probably, wherever he is right now, very proud, because when he won the Medal of Honor, he said that this belongs to the rest of the boys, and of course the women who were in the service at the time too, that the fact that this parade is in his honor, but it also is in honor of veterans, veterans from all the wars.
Yes.
And it's important to recognize that, and I think it's fabulous that this town.
And you know, I think it came at the right time. We were at a point in 1979, 1980, 1981 when we were healing from Vietnam.
Yes.
If we had tried to start this parade earlier, I wonder exactly what would have happened to it. We were in the process of healing from Vietnam, and I think it was something that helped that healing process happen. And I think the veterans were jumped on it because that was what they saw also. Finally, we're being appreciated for what we've done and what we're doing.
That's a very, very interesting point, because I have talked to many Marines and who talk about how does a soldier come back? How do they feel? How can they express what has happened to them? Who can they talk to? And for some reason, this whole parade and the whole feeling of this goes right along with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And the the reception that the veterans get when they come here is phenomenal.
That
It's
is
just phenomenal. It's as if they're everybody's son and everybody's husband and everybody's brother. And, you know, and unfortunately, every year we have fewer and fewer because they're getting older, they can't come or they're dying. And it's an era, it's a tradition that we've got to save their stories. And we've got to keep their stories. That's why I'm so thrilled that you're doing this video about John.
Oh, thank you.